So I just left my appointment, and this was with the nurse. I guess they're going to get me.
Have a good day, ma'am. You
You
look pretty,
too.
too.
Thank you.
Have a good day, Mama, okay?
You too.
Okay.
You look nice too.
Thank you so much. And I know Dad is watching me saying, like, you better be saying that to her like that, but I just want to tell you, Mama, because you went right there. I want to tell you what I can tell you. Tell Dad I love him, too.
You said, Dad, I love you too?
Yeah, your husband, or whoever you with.
I don't have a husband.
You don't?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, you're a nice lady. I just don't know. I don't know if I'd be able to take care of you the right way. I don't want to keep saying because I got mental problems, but I just worry about stuff.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, well, I love you, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Have a nice day. Okay, so I just left my primary care doctor, and it's over here. So I'm going to grab the bus pass so I don't have to have people bring me. But, so I wanted to talk a little bit about my post today, and it spoke on, let's speak about my post spoke on, I forgot, hold on. Okay, so my post says, there's a blessing in every lesson and a lesson in every blessing. What I meant by that is, like, there's this one lady, this one girl, she's 21 years old, and I talked to her a little bit about these guys out here, and she was having issues with these guys. Well, this one specific guy, and she was like, well, I don't know what this guy is sending, I don't know why God is sending this guy into my life, but I want to know why. And I was just telling her, like, there's a lesson in every blessing and the blessing out of every lesson. So this guy may be a lesson in her life, you know, because she really don't understand him and the way he talk and stuff or what he do. And she said he lies about a lot of stuff, but this is the guy where she said he gave her $20. He gave her child $2. He said he'd take care of her, and he would basically support her financially. And she had just met him on the first day. She had just met him on the first day, and she was like kind of worried about him because, obviously she wasn't too worried if she gave him her number and this and that. But I just said, like, maybe this guy is a blessing, or he could be a lesson. You know, if this is something out of the ordinary that you wouldn't do, maybe this is something that's taking you out of your comfort zone to really get through to you. You know, sometimes you have to have somebody or something take you out of your comfort zone so that you can get a lesson out of it. You know, if you just say, like, you so used to driving down this road, so you drive down this road all the time, you know, and you're comfortable driving down this road, but there's something that's happening on this road that will eventually affect you later on in the future, and God is trying to protect you from that. But if you keep driving down this road, it's going to happen to you. So therefore, God has to basically put something on this road to get you to take another road. You know, sometimes we get too comfortable and uncomfortable. And times change, people change, things change, and eventually later down that line, that road won't be as safe for you anymore. So God has to put you in an uncomfortable situation so that you can learn your lesson. So basically that's how I see this playing out for her. So as I told her, I said, you know, it's a lesson. It could be a lesson, and you won't know until later on. So everything that she's going through with him is later on you'll find out what it is. Or maybe it's been so many red signs because she's been giving red flags constantly. So maybe it's a lot of red flags, and these red flags tell you to stop, but you keep going on, and maybe later on it's going to be too late, because she said one of the red signs is that, you know, he gave her money, he gave her child money, you know, he's taking her out, and it's only, what, day 2, day 3. Going into day 3, he's being a little bit intimate too fast, you know, putting her in an uncomfortable situation. She's not really attracted to him, but something is keeping her from cutting him off altogether. So what is that something is what I would say. What else? Okay, so she said he lied about having a house. He don't stay with his mom. I mean, he don't stay in his own house. He stay with his mom sometimes, and he's not telling her exactly where he's living. So that's a red flag in her eyes as well. What else did he do? He's just putting her in uncomfortable situations. You know, he's moving a little bit too fast. She even said that he got her name tatted on him, but he said that it was his ex-girlfriend. And she said it looks like a fresh tattoo. Like, it don't seem like an old tattoo. It seems like it's new. So either, you know, that ex-girlfriend is still a factor in his life, or did he get a tattoo of her name on him within 4 days? She also said that his baby mom is not really his baby mom because the kid's not his, but he's still claiming them. You know, he's still making himself relevant in their life. Therefore, you know, she's questioning, well, these aren't your kids. And why are you still in her life? Like, maybe y'all still talking or something. But then I threw out the fact that maybe if he raised them since birth, then it could be a complicated situation for him to come out of. So those are the red flags that she's seeing. She's telling us about, and she's saying our red flags. We're supposed to be going to the restaurant because he said he's going to take us to Golden Corral this Friday, all of us, and she just wants us in on everything to just kind of observe their situation, observe what's going on with them, so that we can just, you know, tell her what's best for her, or how do we see the situation in our eyes on the outside looking in. So that's what we're supposed to be doing this weekend, and I find like it's real interesting, you know, it's interesting hearing about other people's experiences, and I try to give the best advice I can, but sometimes I feel like I come off too positive because I'm in a positive mood, so I'm going to give you some positive feedback, but at the end of it all, I still want to be real. So when I feel like I'm not being real, and I want to be real, but I'm not being real because my mood is just too up here, and you're down here, and I'm trying to bring you up, but I don't want to bring you up by misleading you or misguiding you, or we having some type of miscommunication because I'm in a good mood, so I can't really give you the great advice that I want to give you. Instead, I'm giving you positive feedback about a negative situation, and I feel like that's what I was doing, honestly, you know. But I'm more of an optimist when it comes to relationships, and our experiences is different, so whatever she's going through and however I see it, I'm just going based off of my experiences. I never had an experience like that, but some of the stuff, you know, it just seemed like common sense, but it all depends because we just kind of feel like he's in a different state of mind. You know, they're not on the same page, they don't have the same amount of things, like their sanity are on 2 different levels. You know, I don't judge, but I know that, you know, some people go through more stuff than other people. So, you know, if he went through something and this is affecting him, but he's not really noticing it, or he feel like there's something, you know, wrong up there, or I feel like, oh yeah, there might be something wrong up there, but I'm not the one to judge. So it's like, don't judge a book by its cover. You know, he may not be mentally stable, but who is mentally stable? And everybody's experience, everybody's life is for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. You know, so that's the message, you know, for her and for anybody else out there. I really didn't give too much of a message because, like I said, optimism can go a long way, and it can lead you to so many different, you know, areas in your life. Like it can lead to negative situations, it can lead to positive situations. That's why I am more humble, but I never, you know, I always have that tendency of giving people the benefit of the doubt, and I have that's like a tender part of my heart. I used to go to this this little child care center right here. I used to do ballet there. We was doing ballet, gymnastics, and stuff like that. I don't think it was ballet, but I think it was gymnastics. I did gymnastics there. That's one of the daycares that I would love for my son to go to, but I would have to figure out housing around this area. But yeah, on her situation, it's just complicated to think about. Maybe I'm not meant to think about it, but at the same time, it's just like I don't know, because I know it's gonna keep coming to me, and I guess I'm asking for advice as well. Like, what would y'all tell her depending on this situation? Like everything that I just told y'all, what advice would y'all give her? Because I don't know what advice I would give her. The best advice I can give her right now is look where you're at, be present where you're at, because the one thing I'm familiar with is like taking advantage of the situation. Like I always had the idea, but I never got put in a situation where I had to make a choice or I had to actually act on a situation. Like I always thought about it, but it never happened to me to where I had to go through it. So it's just like, okay, so we're at the shelter, right? Since we're at the shelter, it's like I would say focus on your daughter, focus on yourself. Where we're at is more about self-reflection. The fact that we have Bible study every day, and she said this helps her a lot. Bible study helps her. Like she never even thought about it, but now ever since she's been doing it, she's been, you know, feeling differently about her life. And, you know, it's just a different experience for her. So it's just like, I would tell her to focus more on herself, focus inward rather than outward. Don't like a lot of girls chase after men because they feel like this opportunity is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I don't basically, people are a one in a lifetime opportunity. Treat people as you would treat, you know, oh, I just got that job. You know, you can do that, but at the same time, having faith is not running after this man. Having faith is letting go of the situation and allowing God to act on your life. Having faith is saying, okay, you know, walking away from that number. Like, he wants your number, but obviously if I found you here and you be here, you know, maybe we'll cross paths eventually later on down the road. I'm not going to chase after you. I'm just going to have faith in God, and if you're meant for me, you're meant for me, and I'll find you when the time is right. Sometimes technical, and that's what a lot of people talk about technology, is that sometimes they do interfere in our lives. You know, back then it was a problem because, you know, just sometimes technology can interfere with our destiny. Sometimes technology can interfere with our fate or what's actually for us, because it's more so the people, not the technology itself. It's because the people need the technology. Why do people make technology? So they can have control of the situation, so they can have control of life. It's about the people, it's not about the technology. But if you want to make it about the technology, yes, back then I feel like, because we're in a different era now. You know, times have changed, times is different. So it's like, yeah, back then, yeah, technology was an issue. And I might get off here because I actually want to go to the store right here. And then I think I am.
Stop requested.
Okay, so I felt like back then, because it was a new thing. Like, we was in the era of dark ages, so nobody could really truly adapt to the new era of technology. So how do you feel about something when it's making you feel uncomfortable or you're not used to it? You will basically resent it. So I feel like that's what we was doing. Oh, it's open? Thank you. You too. We would resent technology. You know, we would resent because we were in a resentful state of mind, or we were just resenting because we didn't want that to be the case. We didn't want that change in our lives, and that is why it happened, you know. Hold on, I was supposed to get a bus pass. But that is why people resent stuff, or resentment takes place. I forgot what I was talking about. So technology. So we resented technology, and we resented what technology can do for us. So therefore, how can something work for you if you're, resenting it? You know, you have to be in a state of acceptance. So now we're in this time where we feel like, okay, so times has changed, and times is really adapting to who we are. We're adapting with times now, and we're not resenting. So therefore, I feel like technology is not even a problem anymore. You know, it's not accepting. Everyone who's not accepting is staying in that mindset, staying in that time, and not really evolving with the world. And this goes into a place where it says the world doesn't stop for no one. Time doesn't stop for no one. The world keeps spinning, and if you still stuck, then you're gonna get left behind. I don't believe in getting left behind though. When you're stuck in the same place and life is going on, eventually something will pull you out of that, because the world can't go on without some type of shift in your perspective, shift in your life. If you're not where we are, you're not going to get completely left behind, but something is going to change in you. You know, if they have adapted to technology, then you're adapting to the television. You know, it's something that's going to take place in your life that's going to put you on track, you know, regardless if you want to or not. You know, and that just goes to the Bible study we had today. She asked the Bible study teacher, well, she's not really a teacher, but she's an office worker, but she stepped in for the teachers today. And she was like, well, how can you tell, if you don't want something to change, or you don't want to, basically you allow your hateful mindset towards a person to kind of hold you back from what God wants you to do in another person's place. And she was like, well, how you hate a person can affect what you're supposed to do in that person's life. She ain't put it in those exact words, so I understood it because she elaborated with me. She explained what she was talking about, because I had to tell her, because hold up, you're throwing me off right now. I need to understand what you just said right now. So she explained it to me, and she said that, and she was like, it's a lot of people that just walk around and they hold their tongue. She don't want people to hold their tongue. And this is what she's asking. This is one of her prayer requests. She's tired of people holding their tongue. She wants them to be upfront. She wants them to talk, just like I was at one point in my life. You get frustrated when stuff just keeps acting on you. Just like I said, just as plants, a plant can sit around and do nothing, but it's the energy that you get from the plant. She wants to know what's going on. She wants to know, why you feel the way you feel, and how she can, confront the situation, correct the situation with you. But with everyone holding their tongue, she can't. She's being left blocked out. She's being blocked out of the situation. She don't want to be blocked out of the situation. So she was talking about that, and I was just like, yeah, well, if you're of God and you love God and you're on that journey, you're praying often and you're truly about God, it's true and true intention, then God will work for you. And you just don't, I really wanted to say you don't have to worry about them people. Don't worry about them people. But at the same time, I can't understand where she's coming from now that I think about it now. But she was saying, well, I was telling her that God will, that's how the Holy Spirit works, you know. The Holy Spirit works through you. So whatever God wants you to say to a person, it will come out whether you want it to or not. It's something in you that's going to make you want to, you know, just like you got to throw up or something. It's just like that. Something in you will want to make you, will pull that out of you. And you standing there thinking like, hold up, did I just say that? Why did I just say that? I didn't mean to say that. I was thinking it. Why did I say it? Because God pulled it out of you, because it was time for whatever, that moment to receive whatever you was holding in. And that's basically the outpour of, you know, that outpouring. So that's basically what I was talking about. Like, eventually stuff will happen whether you want it to or not. You're not in control of the situation. So, and like I said, so that's how that plays out. So then earlier I was just thinking of, like, I was just having an optimistic moment because this lady was actually getting on my nerves in the nurse's office, and I was just like, this is a question for y'all though. What do y'all think, how do y'all think white people will react not having no control of the situation? You know, even if they're out in the wilderness, they feel like they have to have some type of control. They have to have some type of knowing. They have to have some type of, you know, they have to know what to do. Like, they always trying to outsmart people and this and that kind of aggravates them when they can't outsmart you, and this is a problem today. I feel like because they're coming across a lot of people that can actually outsmart them, you know. So just go on to the white people. Go into the white people. You know, it's just about them having that sense of control. And I was just thinking, like, I'm like, I know dang well the person in the Bible is not a white person. If it is a white person, then it had to go through something so life-changing, so some type of brokenness, like they broke down, like something had to break them down to the point where they had to have revenge, you know, to the point where, because it's only them. It's like, why do you want control of the situation? They've been in control for so long. It's like they've got into this area, they've got into this place where if they don't have no control, it's going to break them down. This is their weakness, you know. And I'm not only speaking, well, it is, because that's what I notice about white people generally, because they have to have that sense of control. They have to be in control because it's in their blood. It's in their ancestors. Their ancestors had control, so maybe they feel like they have to carry that on, and if anybody gets in their way, I feel like they got that grudge, you know, because that's their dark area, that's their darkness. But at the same time, when you look at other people, some people that never had control can kind of take advantage of the situation. So is it good for white people to not have control, or is it good for people that never had control to take the wheel of the boat, you know, take the wheel of the vehicle? Because so much control can kind of ruin everything if you don't know what to do with that control, and it's a whole bunch of lives in your hands. So it's just like, all of this was just coming to me because it's just like, I was sitting in the nurse's office, and she just was kind of she had a bad attitude, and she always wanted to cut me off, and she just didn't understand. And that's why I feel like, you know, I'm not going to allow them to have access of every single part of my life anymore, because they don't understand. And I just felt kind of weighed down by the situation when I was in the office. It's because I'm genuinely, passionately telling you what's wrong with me, or how I feel about this, and you're just like brushing it off like, oh yeah, whatever. I'm like, it got to the point where I actually had to tell her to take note of what I was saying, because she wasn't going to bring it up to the other factor, because she felt as though she didn't have to do that, you know. And I feel like these type of people, You know, if you're not genuine and you have no experience or you can't relate to that patient or anything, you should have no part to do with whatever's going on. You have to be passionate about your job, and passionate about your job is having that experience with the job, and this is what irritates me. And so I walked out and I was angry. But, you know, I didn't lash out. I didn't show my anger, and that's good. That's a good part of, you know, that's a good sign, you know. So I swallowed it in, you know, and just like I said, people can feel that. Like when you angry at a certain situation, then you carry that anger on, like on your shoulder or something, and then you approach another situation, that's still on your back. So you're still feeling that while you're approaching another situation, and now that person is confused on how you're acting towards them because of what you didn't resolve here. So it's just like, yeah. So going back to the, you know, there's a lesson in every blessing. There's a blessing in every lesson, depending on how you react. How do you react to the situation? What's your choice to the situation? This could be a lesson. This could be a blessing. My blessing could be walking away from the situation and taking that as a lesson learning experience to use later on in my life. It could be a blessing to where I just have faith and I keep walking with it. And then later on, you know, wasn't a blessing but a lesson. And then, you know, it's icing on the cake, blessing to a lesson. So, yeah, it's just about choices, and it's just about your experience and what you've gone through, what you've learned, and what you can take and what you can give. That's what life is about. You know, people are confusing. They're going to be confusing. So the best thing you do for yourself is to be about yourself. Be about your loved ones, who you gave birth to, what you can do about this situation, and take your mind away from other people on the outside, because what's for you will come to you, and that's just what it is. So yeah, with that being said, like, comment, subscribe, be notified, share at your own free will to show you care, and I'll see y'all next time. I'm about to get me some more of this this stuff for my edges, because this is the best stuff that ever worked on my hair. It's real toxic though, but it's a good hold. So yeah, I'm about to get out of here, and I'm about to hop back on the bus and get to my mom's house after this. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.